Hi, this is Liam from Technology Management, and I'm doing a short video which runs through some of the new features and the new interface that you get with Windows 10. And I guess the big news is that the Start menu is back. We don't have the word Start, we have a little Windows symbol now in the bottom left-hand corner. And when we click on that, we see most recently, or the most frequently used icons are now at the top of our Start menu. We've got some power and control panel settings that are pinned as well. But if I click on All Apps, there's the old familiar look and feel of all my programs lined up for me. I can have subfolders underneath there, so I can organize my programs as I want to. And I can obviously click and launch them. I can pin them to the desktop, to the taskbar down the bottom. You can see I've got a few apps that are open, but some that are pinned already. And another new feature, which is quite neat, is I can click on one of these letters of the alphabet. That zooms out. So if I have a lot of apps and I say I'm looking for Microsoft Excel, I can click on the E, and there at the top I get any apps or programs beginning with E, and there's Excel. I could click on that, launch it, and away I go. So that's neat, and it's nice to have that back. But we've also got this hybrid mashup of Windows 7 and Windows 8. So we've still got the live tiles here, so I can see what the weather's like in my location. I get news that updates as the stories break throughout the day. I've got my Twitter app if I get a new notification, the same with Facebook. I've also pinned some normal shortcuts and normal programs onto here as well. But if I want to use touch, and I've got a touch-sensitive screen, bang, I can use my finger and open those applications as well. And it's nice to have that information rolling around on the live tiles, and that was a really nice feature of Windows 8. So we've got the best of both worlds. We can resize all of these things. I can move my icons around. I can name these groups and have more and extend out if I wanted to, and put more apps in that area of the screen. So what Microsoft have given us with Windows 10 is the ability to interact with it as we like, whether it's touch, whether it's with keyboard and mouse, and so you get the best of both worlds. And we'll talk about how Windows now knows if you're on a device that is touch only, and it will change the screen appropriately for you. We'll do that in a moment by dropping the keyboard off this device I'm on. One of the other new areas is this personal assistant that Microsoft have built in down the bottom called Cortana. If I click on that, I could type a question, but what we'll do first of all is take a quick look. It's personalized to me. It took some information off me when you set it up, so it's looking at my calendar. It's telling me somebody's birthday is today. It knows it's the evening, so it's giving me relevant information. It's got some sports headlines because it knows I'm interested in sports because I've told it that, and I could pick a particular team or multiple teams and different sports, and it would try and filter the information down to those. Entertainment news, the weather again, I can see what's going on, and it's all location based. You can see it knows where I'm at. And it then gives me some recommendations of places I might like to eat this evening and links to some review sites so I can check them out before I go, if that's what I decide to do. So that's quite neat, and down the side we've got the different settings for that, and setting up the location and recognizing the information about us, so that information we get on Cortana is personalized. Rather than opening up a browser and going to a search engine, I could type whatever I wanted on here, and it would go away and find that. So if I typed in technology management, you'll notice first of all it's searching my machine, so it's searching my stuff. So there's some PowerPoints on there that have the phrase technology management's in there, but also I can say on the web, and we see down here that I get those results. So I can see technology management, so technology management Wolverhampton. So let's click on that, and I get the results of technology management. So I can obviously click through to our website, and I can see all that. So I've got a search engine built into the desktop now, which is nice. It's neat. I like the way it searches my stuff and stuff online. But we've talked about how we can interact with Windows with a keyboard, a mouse, with touch. Microsoft are now giving us the option to interact via voice. So I can either fire it up by saying a phrase, "Hey Cortana," or I can click on the little microphone. What am I doing on Friday?
You have 4 events Friday. At 10 a.m., Nav Ignite planning session at Resource Boardroom. At 1:30 p.m., meeting to review website. At 3 p.m., chase up proposal with printers. And Daniel Stokes' birthday, all day. That's it.
Goodbye, Cortana.
See you later.
And so we have this new way of interacting where I can ask it a question with just normal search language. I don't have to put a code in or anything like that. I can just ask it in the way I would speak to anything else, and it gave me the information on a Friday. And you can ask it normal random search things. You can ask it to find music that might be on your PC. So if you've used this on your phone with Siri on the iPhone or Cortana on Windows Phone, there's options on Android as well. You'll be familiar with that, but it's actually come to the desktop. If you're in a busy, noisy office, that's not going to work too well if you try and talk to it. But again, I can still type, what am I doing on Friday? And I'll still get the same information. So that's quite nice that it will still go through that for me if I'm using type rather than voice. And you can ask it maths questions and a few other bits and pieces. We're seeing this, I think, just beginning, and the way it's going to evolve over time is going to be interesting and it's no doubt going to become more and more popular and more frequently used as we just begin to talk to our devices. So that's something that's built in. That's pretty neat, and I do like Cortana. I like the way it filters information. I like the way if I have an appointment, it looks at the postcode or the address. It's checking the travel out in the background, the traffic. So it might say you need to leave now. Just pops up on your screen because there's bad traffic and you need to leave 40 minutes earlier. That's quite nice. I like the way it'll look at my diary and anticipate problems for me. So I think that's pretty cool. One of the other new areas is we can now swipe in from the left-hand side of our screen, or the right-hand side of our screen, sorry, and we get the Action Center. And this, as you can see, gives me hopefully a whole bunch of settings. So I can put it into tablet mode. I can see which Wi-Fi point I'm connected to. I can even launch OneNote if I want to start scribbling some information down. I've got the brightness. I can change my power settings from within here, etc., etc. So they're all at the touch of a button, whether that's with a mouse or whether it's my finger. I could, turn the Bluetooth off, turn my location settings off. I can go back into control panel, look at everything. We've also got across the top, tell me some updates were installed today. That's fairly familiar with and frequent if you're using Windows. But it also tells me that I need to sign in on something to get some additional information around some maintenance. I got a couple of a new follower on Twitter, and someone's favorited one of my tweets. And I've got some Xbox achievements that are popping through as well because it's linked to my Xbox account. So it's giving me all that information in one place, and that could be emails, it could be calendar entries, a whole bunch of stuff popping up, and they call it the Action Center. And again, it's the idea of collating all the information we have going on in our day-to-day lives and trying to put it in a central area to make it easier to manage. So again, that's something new that's come with Windows 10. One of the other features I really like about Windows 10 is something that was introduced with Windows 7, and it's got even better with Windows 10 as you'd hopefully expect, and that's the ability to snap applications on the screen. So if I fire something like Word, what you used to do with Windows 7 is drag it to the side of the screen, and it automatically goes to the halfway point of your screen, and then you would then drag something to the other side. Well, Windows 10 is now saying, well, these are the apps you've got open. What do you want to snap to it? So I can say, well, you know what, I want Excel next to it, and then it automatically clicks up and lets me know what app is available and pops it in the right place. And if I decide that actually I want that just to be the top half of the screen, I then again get what apps I have open to click and take the final point. So if I want my OneNote to pop there as well, I can do. So I think that's pretty cool. I like the way it does that. And again, it's just adding a small little tweak on what was a popular feature to improve it and make it even better. We have the ability to have something called virtual desktops, where this look like on down the bottom, where I can see all my apps, and if I wanted to, I could create a screen which had maybe all my social stuff like Facebook and Twitter, and so much having like multiple monitors that all displayed on one, and I can just jump by using that button around the different screens I've created, and then so I can have a lot of information running in the background, and I'll just flip and use the bits I need at that moment of time, and so my screen is personalized for whatever I'm doing during the day. Again, it's quite a nice feature which they've added in with Windows 10. The other big thing is there's a new browser, Internet Explorer. It's still there, and sometimes you still need to use it. But Microsoft have a new browser. It's called Edge, and there's a few subtle changes here. It's nice and quick, so it competes with Chrome and Firefox and those browsers that have probably been a lot leaner than Internet Explorer was over the years. But there's also some nice stuff which I really like, and I guess the big area of that is this option that we can now write and scribble all over a web page. So I can just click on the little make a note icon on here, and then I get some different options. And I'm using a stylus because I'm on a touch device like a tablet here, and I can select that I want to write on my web page, and I can start saying, you know what, I want to make a bit of a note here and say let's move that. That I want to be able to have a call out, or cut part of the screen. If I want to say let's just grab this is the bit I'm interested in. I can even make notes on the screen by saying let's type something here, and I'll put hi, can we move this? And I can then save that quite quickly just by hitting the little save button at the top. And I get that web note, I can put it in my favorites, I can send it to somebody, I can send it to OneNote, which is Microsoft's note making app, and or I can just bang, off we go, choose where it goes and send it off, which I think is quite a neat way of working now. And it's this idea that we're interacting with our devices completely differently, and I think that's quite neat. So that's one of those areas I can do. I could view the note then if I wanted to add some more information around. It's gone into OneNote, so it's almost like doing a screen grab for me, and it's got all that writing and scribble that I put on the website, and obviously I could do some far more informative information than that, but it gives you a general idea of what's possible. Of course, I can also share that in the normal way of Windows. I can mail it to somebody, Facebook it, OneNote it, tweet it, whatever I want, away I can go. So I'm just going to come out of there, still in the browser, so absolutely I can carry on working. And there's another area which I quite like, which is the ability, we looked at Cortana, but Cortana is now built into Microsoft Edge, our browser. So if I highlight a particular piece of text, so let's have a look at Microsoft Dynamics Nav 2015, and I right mouse like that, I can just go Ask Cortana. And within the browser, you'll notice I now have this information down the side, so I can see what Microsoft Dynamics Nav is. It's giving me some ideas. It knows it's a program sold by Microsoft. It's an ERP program, and there's some highlights around that, and I can click through and get more information if I require it. So that's quite a nice and neat feature which I can pin so it's always there, or just click back off and it disappears. So we can see we're starting to interact with our web pages a little bit differently, and I think that's quite neat. We get a reading list now, so I get an area of lists. I obviously have my favorites, but I also get this reading list. So I can say, you know what, I want to add this page to a reading list, and it will then put it in there. And whenever I want to go back and quickly just read that one article, so typically it's something you might find during the day. You don't add it to your favorites because then your favorites list gets massive and you can never remember to go back to it. But the favorite list is quite nice. Sorry, the reading list is quite nice, and you can go back, read the article, and then just remove it when you've read it. And so it stays far more manageable and doesn't become such a mess of adding everything to your favorites. So again, it's been around on other browsers, I'm sure, but it's now been built into to Microsoft Edge, and it follows you around. So if you've got a phone that links to your account, the reading list will be on there as well. So it's quite neat. I like that. So look, it's a browser. It will do the majority of things that we expect to do. It's nice and quick. It works with HTML5. If there's something that it doesn't like, it does give you the option to jump back to Internet Explorer. But we are seeing this far more of the central part of browsing the web with Microsoft. So there's just a brief overview of some of the features. There's a whole bunch of other things that we could have looked at. Oh, the one thing I didn't do was talk about different devices. So we showed you the start menu. We clicked on that and away we went. What we can do now is, if I actually just remove the keyboard, which I'm just doing to here, what I'll find is Windows then says to me, do you want to enter tablet mode? So I can say, yes, I do. So I'm just using my finger now rather than a mouse and a keyboard. And you'll see that those live tiles we were looking at earlier suddenly take up the majority of the screen, because it knows it's far easier for me to interact with the machine with my fingers now, because I'm in a tablet mode. So there's no keyboard, there's no mouse attached anymore. I've got my menus down the bottom, so I can still click on Cortana, and I can start to talk to that again. Alternatively, I can click back on the Windows button and it takes me back to that screen. I've got my apps if I want to bring it down and use it with my finger, but that's a little bit clunky to do, but it's there if I want, so that's quite neat. If I plug my keyboard back on, snap that back, Windows will say, hey, I've got a keyboard again. Do you want to go back and exit the tablet mode? And I'm going to go yes. You can see I have the option to set this automatically to happen, so I don't have to. It'll just either go to tablet mode and I take the keyboard off, and when I snap the keyboard back on, it goes back into normal Windows as we were looking at earlier. So that's called Continuum. It's neat. I like the way that works. As we have more and more devices that are what they call hybrid, so you can roll them around so it looks like a tablet and your keyboard is hiding behind it, or I'm using a Surface Pro here so you can pop the keyboard off. The operating system is wise enough to know that I'm going to be better interacting this with my finger because it's now a touch device, or I'm going to be better with the keyboard and mouse. So again, it's this idea that the system evolves with you, with the device that you're working on, and gives you hopefully the best experience that you can have to interact with it. There's loads more behind the scenes, and I might put another video together running through a few of the other bits and pieces, but hopefully that's a nice little overview for now. I hope it's been of use. If you have any questions, you can always email me at liam.walton@techman.co.uk or hit the website techman.co.uk. Thanks a lot.